If you want to get your finances in order, the first thing you need to do is not hire an expensive money coach or financial planner or financial advisor. The first thing you need to do is just track your money. Once you track your money, you want to make some adjustments to how you're spending your money. Once you make those adjustments, make sure you're implementing those adjustments and then rinse and repeat. As you start to get your money in order, that's when you can start doing the fancy stuff, maybe getting a financial advisor, maybe getting a money coach, maybe reading a whole bunch of financial books, maybe then start going out and figuring out how you want to invest your money. But the very first thing you got to do is you got to start tracking your money. And that means I want you just to go out and get a piece of paper, get a Google sheet, use an Excel sheet, does not matter. And at the very top, you got to write your income. Now, if you have multiple sources of income or if you have multiple incomes in your household, write them down here. Where is your money coming in from? Is it your job, your W-2? Is it your side hustles? Is it your business? Is it your investment income? Wherever the income is, write it down right here. That way you know exactly how much money you made over the last month. You want to do this month by month. That's probably the easiest way to do this. Then, once you got a total number for your income, the next thing you want to do is you're going to write down your expenses. Now, same concept. You're going to take out your bank statements. You're going to take out your debit card statements. You're going to take out your credit card statements. I want you to take a look at all of your expenses. And the reason why it's easier if you use a Google Sheet or Excel sheet is because it's going to be easier for you to categorize these a little bit later on. But if you like paper, that's fine. Now, take out all of these and you need to know exactly where every penny went. How much money did you spend on restaurants? How much money you spend on groceries? How much money you spend on vacations? How much money you spend on your rent or your mortgage? How much money did you spend on your utilities? How much money did you spend on Netflix and everything in between? Write each one of these down. Then ideally you will categorize these and then you're going to write down your total expenses. Then below that, you're going to write your other numbers here. How much money did you save? How much money did you invest? And how much money did you give to charity? Once you have this right here, now you have a financial spreadsheet showing you what's going on with your money. Because most people, and I'm just saying this generally, I'm saying this statistically, most Americans, the vast majority of Americans, have absolutely no idea of how much money they're making, how much money they're spending, where they're spending their money, how much are they saving, and how much are they investing, and how much are they giving to charity. Start with this. Once you do this, I can immediately guarantee that as soon as you see this, you're going to want to make some adjustments. I don't even have to tell you what to do. And the reason why is because when you do this, you're grading yourself and you're going to see, holy crap, how much money did I just spend at restaurants last month? How much money did I spend going out on my car last month? How much money did I spend on groceries last month? And immediately, you're going to start making some changes. Because when you see how much money you spend at groceries, maybe you're going to start creating a grocery list. And you're going to say, unless it's on my grocery list, I don't buy this thing at the grocery store. If you see that you spent $600 at Benihana's last month, you're going to say, okay, I'm not eating out this month. I'm going to go and cook my own meals this month. So I don't want to give you a blanket statement of how you start spending your money yet, because I want you to, number one, track your money. Then number two, I want you to make adjustments on how you want to start spending your money. And these adjustments that you make are going to depend on what your financial statements look like. Then number three is I want you to actually implement these things. That means now you have the statement for last month. What do you think you're going to do next month? Yes, you're going to do this again. That means month after month. And it shouldn't take you that long after you do it the first time. The first time, it's going to take you the longest. The second time, it's going to take you a little bit less time. But by the third time, you're going to be able to do it in 15 to 30 minutes. Every month, you want to make a little sheet of how much money you're making and what's going on with your money. That way you can understand what's going on with your money, because it's going to help you make better decisions with your money. Then, it's number four, rinse and repeat. Because now what's going to happen is once you take a look at this 2 months down the line, you're going to have a much better financial grasp of your money. You're going to see how much money you're making. You're going to know what your expenses are like. You're going to have a better control of your expenses. And now you're going to be looking at, how can I optimize my expenses? How many of these bills can I renegotiate? How many of these bills can I get rid of because I'm not using them before? Can we downsize the car? Do we really need a car this expensive that takes premium gas that has $782 a month just in the monthly payment without including all the other fees? Can you downgrade on these items? And these are the questions you're going to start answering when you get to month 2 and month 3. And I don't have to tell you what to do. You have to start with this if you want to get your finances in order, because most people's financial statements look like this. You make money, you spend money, and then you wonder where all of your money went. And then everybody says, oh, okay, well, I'm making some money. I got to get my money in order. I have no real wealth. I have no real investments. I want to get my life in order. I want to have some cash in the bank. maybe you should start investing my money. And so now you have this financial statement going on right here. And then the next thing that people do is they go open a stock brokerage account. Now I'm going to start throwing some money to the stock brokerage. You put aside $1,000, and now you put $1,000 into the stock brokerage account, and you can say, I'm now going to become wealthy with this $1,000 investment. What stock should I buy? And now you go out and buy a stock that you read online that you think is a good investment. And then when the stock goes down in value to $780, you wonder what the heck is going on in the world. You thought that investing was supposed to make you richer, but now you just lost $200 some by putting your money into what you thought was a good investment. This is how most people become and stay broke. It's not because you're not investing your money to the right places, it's because you have no system of what to do with your money. Once you got this in order, the next thing you want to do is create a few different bank accounts. I like to say that you need to have at least 3 different bank accounts. A bank account for your spending money, a bank account for your savings money, and a bank account for your investments money. And the reason why you want to keep these in separate bank accounts is because if you keep all of your money in one bank account, how do you know which money is supposed to be invested? Which money is supposed to be saved for an emergency, and which money is supposed to be spent. And you might say, oh, I'm good with the money. I know that this $3,000 that's in there is just for my savings, and this $8,000 there is for my investments, and the other money I can spend. Well, when it's all in one bank account, it's very easy to accidentally spend your savings money, and it's very easy to accidentally finance your investment money. And this is why you want to go out and create 3 different bank accounts. And what you can do now, thanks to technology, is many banks will allow you for free to create an automatic withdrawal and deposit. That way now when you get paid in one bank account, you can automatically have some of this money move to your second bank account. So you have 3 different bank accounts. This is where all your money gets deposited when you get paid. Then, anytime you get paid, you can create an automatic withdrawal and deposit. That way, a percentage of this money goes into your investment money, and a percentage of this investment goes into your savings account. Now, you're separating your money. That way, you cannot accidentally spend your investing money, and you can't accidentally spend your savings money. Now, this is where everybody asks, well, how do I invest my money, and where do I invest my money? I'm not going to go too deep into investing in this video, but we have a full ebook on how do you invest your money at Briefs Media titled How to Build Wealth as an Investor. And this starts from the basics of how do you build the mindset of an investor to how do you save your first couple $1,000s, but then it gets a little bit more advanced, going over different investing ideas. How do you invest for cash flow? What are different investing strategies? To how do you spend your money smartly? To then how do you earn more money? To then how do you protect your assets? There's a ton of value in this ebook. You can read this ebook completely for free. All you got to do is click the link down in the description below or go to briefs.co/ebook. The biggest shift here when it comes to getting a hold of your finances, turning your money around and becoming wealthy isn't just creating some financial system and building some financial education. It's also about the mindset of money. Because a lot of times we grew up with no financial education and no idea of how we're supposed to use and spend our money. And so most people assume now when you start making money is you got to go out and spend your money. This is America's consumerism mentality. Hate it or love it, that is what it is. And it's great for people who understand this because now you own the businesses, you own the investments that profit when people spend their money. But when you don't understand this, you're the one that's spending all their money, going into debt to make the rest of the country rich at your expense. And that's why it is so important for you to understand this, because if you don't understand this, you're the reason why everybody else gets to drive around in the nice cars. You're the reason everybody else gets to fly around in the private jets and fly first class. You're the reason everybody has those nice homes. It's because you keep spending all of your money. It's because you keep going into debt to make other people rich before you make yourself rich. That means, number one, if you have $1,000 in your bank account, you can't go out and spend $1,000. And that means if you have $1,000 in your bank account, you cannot afford a $1,000 jacket. You cannot afford a $1,000 handbag. You cannot afford a $1,000 iPhone. Because there's a difference between being able to afford something and being able to buy something. See, most people assume that if I got $50 in the bank and I want to buy a $1,000 phone and it's a $40 a month payment, I can afford the phone because I can afford the $40 monthly payment. But being able to afford something and being able to make the monthly payments are two completely different things. And now, if you want to be able to actually afford it, that means you got to be able to buy the whole thing without having to finance it. The only exception to this that I would make is the home that you live in. But now, when it comes to buying things like a phone, buying things like a car, buying things like a sofa, buying things like a TV, stop financing it. Buy it with cash. Yes, including that car too. The reason why so many Americans are broke, if you had to just pick one item, it's because of how much money people are spending on their car. More and more Americans now have a $1,000 monthly car payment. I think it was 20% of all Americans who have a car payment have at least a $1,000 a month car payment. That is a whole rent payment for a lot of the country. So now when you're spending $1,000 a month just on the car payment, the next thing you got to pay for is the expensive gas. The next thing you got to pay for is the expensive insurance. The next thing you got to pay for is the expensive oil changes. And then the next thing you got to pay for is the expensive maintenance on top of all of that. So it's not just a $1,000 a month car payment you got to pay. Now you're paying $3,000 a month just to keep up with this car. So now if you want to break out of that, go out and buy a used car with cash. If you were going to put $8,000 down to go out and finance this nice car, take the $8,000, go out and buy a car with cash. Yeah, it's not as nice, but you don't got to worry about the payments. Now you take those payments and you reinvest it back into yourself. But then you're going to say, but Jaspreet, if I have $1,000 in my bank account, why can't I buy a $1,000 jacket or a $1,000 iPhone or a $1,000 handbag? I mean, if I have $1,000, I can actually afford it, right? Well, kind of. Yeah, you can buy it. But if you really want to be able to afford it, you can't spend all of your money to buy this thing. That's why one of the things I like to follow is a simple rule of 5, which says if you cannot buy 5 of them, you cannot afford 1 of them. Now, you start to really change the way you think about spending your money. If you got $1,000 in your bank account, that means the most you can buy is a $200 phone, or a $200 jacket, or a $200 handbag. And that way now you're not spending all of your money. It changes the way you think. Now, at first you're going to say, well, how the heck am I supposed to afford a lifestyle if I start to live so much smaller? Well, you'll find a way. Because if the government were to tax you tomorrow, impose a brand new 30% tax on your income, what are you going to do? You're going to kick, complain, scream, cry, and then you're going to find a way to pay it. And that's exactly what you got to do right now, is you got to find a way in the beginning to live smaller. Now, I'm going to say this again. The goal is not to live small for the rest of your life. The goal is not to sit there and pinch pennies for the rest of your life. Pinching pennies is never going to make you wealthy. Because at the end of the day, a penny saved is just a penny. But you got to start by understanding how to control your spending before you start worrying about how you can earn more money. Because if you start earning more money without knowing how to control the spending, well, now you end up in a bigger financial hole. And this is what we see happen for so much of America, is people work to get a raise, they work to get a promotion, they work to get a bonus, you make some more money, now you start driving a faster car. You live in a bigger home. You go on a more expensive vacation because you make more money. And this is where you got to understand why you're working to make more money. Because what wealthy people are doing in this economic system is you're working to make more money to buy more investments. And if you can buy more investments, these investments will continue to make you money because of the way our economic system works. And now if these investments are making you more money, well, now you can take the money your investments make and start to use that to live a bigger lifestyle. And this takes time to do. The reason why so many people don't want to do this is because, well, it's going to take me a long time to start making any money from my investments. And you're 100% right. That's why I call it a decade of sacrifice. But if you can put in that decade of living smaller and working to earn more money, that way you can invest more aggressively, after a decade, you're going to have a whole new stream of income. Maybe a whole new asset that's producing more money for you that you can start using to live a better life. But most people are not willing to put in that time. Most people are not willing to put in that work. Most people are not willing to put in the effort or make those sacrifices. And that's why most people will never become wealthy. And that's why most people will continue to complain and hate the system. Now, the problem with that is that's never going to actually help you with your financial situation. Complaining and hating and bringing everybody else down and bringing down the rest of the world, it's not going to help you feed your family. It's not going to help you take your kids to Disney World. It's not going to help you buy your spouse the handbag that he or she wants. If you want to be able to have the nice things financially, you got to go out and get more money. And that means you got to understand how to use your money smartly. That's the first step. And that means, number one, you got to understand how to track your money. Once you can start tracking your money, you make the adjustments, you start implementing, and you keep working on this, then you got to figure out how can you control the spending. Once you can figure out how to control the expenses, because now you got the income coming in, you got to control these expenses so you have more money to invest, then is how can you earn more money? And this is where things start to get fun. Because now the question is, how do you go from $40,000 a year to $400,000 a year? And at first you might hear that and say, how in the world can somebody like me go from 40 to 400? It doesn't make any sense. But when you start asking that question, you're going to start looking for new answers. Now you're going to start watching different YouTube videos. You're going to start watching YouTube videos on how do you earn more money? How do you start a business? How do you start a side hustle? How can you increase your income? How can you change your career? How can you get a new certificate? And then you can start doing different things. And as you start doing different things, now you're going to start seeing your income change as well. It's not going to happen overnight. This is a process. Remember, a decade of sacrifice is more than just 6 months. We're talking about a decade of work, effort, time, and learning to put in the work, to put in the effort. That way you can start getting the rewards of your effort after putting in the work, after putting in the time. Most people put in the work for 6 months and say, where's my reward? But you got to keep coming back, putting in the reps, and understand now, what are the questions you got to ask? Because once you can control this, then it's all about how can you grow this. And as you grow this, remember, the key is to grow how much money you're putting into your investments. If you can grow how much money you're putting into your investments, you're going to be able to grow how much wealth you will be able to build. And if you can own more assets, then you also get to buy more freedom. Most people assume that schools won't teach you about money simply because teachers don't understand money. But that's a lie. It goes way deeper than that. I'll show you. If the average American was more financially educated, our economic system as it stands today would fail. Why? Because of 3 reasons. Number 1, our government profits when you're in debt.